If they are not under control, what happens? And if they are forcefully controlled also, what happens? And if the mind keeps on indulging in thinking about the objects, what happens? And if their senses are left to do whatever they want, what happens? All this, the whole inner psychology, this is a depth psychology. The whole inner psychology is revealed in few verses. Actually, if you contemplate and think about it, one can write a big book on psychology. So in these few verses, Bhagavan has revealed the inner functioning, how our personality, this body-mind equipment functions. Because if we know how they function, we will be able to control them, use them properly. So he says, Tasmad yasya mahabaho, therefore, hey mahabaho, you have to begin by controlling your senses in the right way, bringing them under your control systematically. Nigrahitani sarvashaha. So one who has overall mastery over the senses, such a person, without mastery over the mind, mastery over senses will not take place. So first, also have a high goal and systematically control the senses. And such a person who has total control over the senses is his prajna, his intellect, his understanding gets established in the self. Indriyani indriyarthebhyaha, one whose senses are totally withdrawn from their sense objects. Such a person, his intellect or understanding or wisdom is pratishtita, is well established, is well settled, is not disturbed, is totally residing deep within himself. See, like sometimes we have our own house, some people have a big house. So if they are on the outer, like on the outer house or in the balcony and all, they hear a lot of noise coming out from the streets. But when you go into your inner chamber, inner, free from all the noise and all, then even if there is big noise outside, you are not disturbed. Similarly, each one of us is seated somewhere. Some people are sitting in their senses. Some are sitting in their mind. Some are sitting in their intellect. But the self-realized person is seated in the self. Elsewhere, the example is given of a lighthouse. So the lighthouse we see in the sea is very rough. Even when the sea is rough and the waves are lashing on that island, the lighthouse remains firm, steady, unmoving. But the ship which is there in the sea, it keeps on, moving about, getting tossed here and there. Why? Because it is in the sea. But lighthouse is steady because it is on that rock, on which that rock is connected to the earth. And on that rock itself lies the whole ocean, which is moving. Similarly, one who is established in the self, that self itself expresses as life, and that life itself expresses as our intellect, our body, as our mind. So one who is established mystically, spiritually in his own self, such a person is called a sthita prajna. And this is possible for all of us. It's not a goal which is indicated only to some rare few. All of us are fit and capable enough of attaining this goal. So, tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrahitani sarvashaha. So, therefore, hey Arjuna, controlling the senses from all sides, one who has controlled the senses from all sides, withdrawn them from their sense object, such a person's intellect is well established in the self, is not moving, is absolutely still in his own self. After this, Bhagavan now gives some more indicators of a realized person, some more characteristics. Further, there is this very famous verse, In a very unique way, Bhagavan reveals the nature of a realized person. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe ya nisha sarva bhutanam. या निशा सर्वभूतानाम तस्याम जागर्ति संयमी. Bhagavan says that which is night, nisha means night, that which is night for all beings, all ignorant beings, that which is night for all ignorant beings, tasyam jagarti sanyami, in that is awake Sanyami, the self-controlled and the realized master. The realized or enlightened being is awake in that night, which is night for all beings. And yasyam jagrati bhutani, and in that which all beings are awake, the self-realized master, munehe pashyataha, one who has seen the truth, he looks at it as night. See, night is when there is total darkness. Night is when there is lack of discrimination. We can't see one object different from the other. Everything is covered with darkness. Night is a sign of ignorance. So here it is said that in which everyone is ignorant. The ignorant person is ignorant about what? See, we may be very scholarly, we may have great degrees, we may have taken a lot of PhDs and mastery over so many other subjects of this world, but spiritually that person may be ignorant. So what is the meaning of ignorance? Ignorance is not knowing who I am. Not knowing the self is called ignorance. We may know everything about the world. We may know about history, geography, civics. We may know science. We may know about computers. We may have got all the degrees of the world. But if we don't know our own self, then we are ignorant. Because the basis on which we know all these things itself is wrong. It's like again to take example of this Vedanta, the rope and the snake. So the rope is lying on the ground. Because of lack of proper light, we see a snake there. So let us say a person is there who sees the snake and he knows everything about the snake, but knows nothing about the rope, but knows everything about the snake. Where the snake is born, what is the color of the snake, how poisonous the snake is, how the snake interacts with other snakes, what are the various habits and all the snakes. Everything about the snake that person knows, but just he doesn't know that there is a rope there. Such a person is called ignorant person. It doesn't matter how much he knows about the snake. Similarly, it doesn't matter how much a person knows about the world, knows about the body, knows about the mind. There are people who are great psychologists and all. They know about the mind, the behavior, the interaction, the all sorts of things. You are okay, I am okay, and all those things, and interaction and games people play and all those things. So one knows everything about psychology, but doesn't know about the self. Spiritually, that person is called ignorant. And such an ignorant person is absolutely in darkness about the self. Even in pravachan, actually, people listen to pravachan and all, but now and then the question comes that what is this self you are talking about? When we talk about the world, when we talk about life, when we talk about work, when we talk about children, when we talk about people say, oh, very nice, practical philosophy is there. But when the topic goes on the self, we get little nervous. You see, what is he talking about? So Bhagavan says that which is like a night, that which is in which people are totally ignorant, they are not even aware of it. In that self, the wise person is awake. He knows about it. He is awake to it. It's like people who are sleeping and dreaming, and another person is awake. Those people who are sleeping and dreaming, they have no clue about the waking state. No clue at all. They are dreaming that they are in some desert. They are dreaming that they are in some forest. They have no clue at all of the waking state. Similarly, a person who is awake, he is awake to that state where all the ignorant people are asleep. So, ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sayyami. So we have to transcend our understanding. We have to go to a different paradigm altogether to recognize what is said here. It is not the improvement of our state, it is transcending our state. Spirituality is not about improving the condition of our life. It is transcending life. Improvement also will happen when we follow the path of Karma Yoga. But ultimately, it leads to transcendence. Till improvement, we like it. But when we talk about transcendence, we feel little agitated. But nothing to be afraid of. So, ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagarti sayyami. We say, like Gautam Buddha is awake. Awake to what? He has also been seen in the same world. No. His body might be here, his mind might be here, but he is awake to a different level altogether. And through his words, through his teaching, he is trying to wake us up to that reality. The realized masters are waking us up through words, through various means. They want us to wake up to that absolute reality. And yasyam jagrati bhutani, but all these beings, ignorant beings, seem to be quite awake, as though, like in a dream, it seems as though we are awake. We move around, we interact, we talk, we walk. So the world in which the ignorant person is awake, he understands about his life, his goals, his attachment, his repulsion, his anger, jealousy, desires, all this, our world, the person who has realized, he looks at it as a night only. Means he looks at it as something which is not of a different level altogether. Like a dream. Yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. So the Muni who has seen the truth, he looks at it, this whole drama which is going on, as a pure drama only. Everything is a mere drama for this person. So this is the sublime and the transcendental goal which is indicated in our scriptures, which is so very fantastic that even when one thinks it, one gets a great joy. The Upanishad talks about it, the Bhagavad Gita talks about it, the Brahma Sutra talks about it, great other literature like our Yoga Vasishtha talks about it. This truth is indicated in the sublime text. Lot of other texts are there which talks about the world and tells us how to become a better person. But after becoming better, the scriptures want us to transcend it. So this is a very beautiful indicator of a realized person. Further, Bhagavan says, आपूर्यमाणमचलं प्रतिष्ठम् समुद्रमाप प्रविशन्